That's what I do. Welcome to this 2 channel. And this is a ground war domination, and this was the best game. Not the best game. One of the great experiences I've had online. You know, you might not always get the best scores. You might not always have like this, 102 game or whatever. Most of the time, especially when you got the hardcore fans who have the Xbox One now and the PS4. I mean, these are your hardcore Call of Duty fans that you're playing against. I mean, these are people who are serious about playing this game. So you're not playing against slouches. Most of your fans that moved on, I mean, they find a way to get the money to get the next console, and they're gonna play your ass hard. And the only problems that I have, and this is a continuation of the Fisticuffs video, is that I look at how people talk about Treyarch games comparative to Infinity Ward games, and I'm saying to myself, I mean, I don't even see how people can even remotely say that Black Ops 2 is even close to this game, Ghost. I mean, I'm going to give you a simple analogy, and that is, snipers were very fast in Black Ops 2, and they had a pistol that can go at any range and kill you. Now, what you have to realize is that they're fast in Black and Ghost, but the equalizer is this, is that your weapon is equally as fast and equally as powerful. So there's a level playing field here. There isn't this thing where people continuously cry to David Vonderhaar and nerf the weapons down so much, and they never ever fixed the sniper rifles. So there was a huge imbalance in weapons for the casual community, and that's why that game died. You have to remember there's a careful balance here, and it's a domino effect. And when you have pro players who come over and start crying about weapons, it doesn't just change the game for them. It's fine because they're only playing 4v4. You have to remember that. That's when you're a developer and you decide you want to change the game for everybody just because of pro players. You got to realize they're playing 4v4 on small maps. You cannot do that for the large populous big ass map gameplay that you're making here. You cannot nerf weapons. It is a huge mistake in domino effects. And that's why I love this game the way it is now. And that's why I say anybody who tells me Black Ops 2 is any good, it's one of the worst Call of Duties ever made based on weapon balance and map size and head glitches every 3 feet. It's terrible. It's the worst Call of Duty ever made for the majority of people who purchased the game. It might be great for those pro players, but it was terrible because pro players did not play on every single map. Pro players excluded a lot of things from pro gameplay. That doesn't happen in the casual world. You play on every map and everything's included. So you cannot nerf something that's going to have an adverse effect on the majority of the population. That's just ridiculous. So if I surmise in the future, if Infinity Ward's listening, be careful. If you're going to nerf something, make sure you put it on the consoles that only pro players play. That's my advice to you. There's nothing wrong with this game with the simple exception of maybe a few things. One is the spawns are terrible. Two, the sniper's 360 circular sphere of drag scoping is incredibly overpowered. I mean, there has to be some limitations until where this drag scoping hitbox one-shot kills is logical for the majority of people who play this game. I mean, you're talking about an epidemic, pandemic within 3-4 months in the spring that's going to be out. Maybe you don't care. The game's only going to last that long. It doesn't matter to you. That's fine. I'm just pointing it out. But I love this. I love the way the game is playing now on Xbox One. I'm going to give you some pointers. This is what you guys are missing out if you're not on the new consoles. One, you have to realize this, that the majority of people that are on there are your hardcore Call of Duty fans. So you're going to get the serious players, and they're going to give you their best shot every single time. And that is why online multiplayer Call of Duty Ghost is #1 on the PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PS3. It's always different. The variables are different every single time. And you have to remember what's even more awesomeness in this game when you're looking at it is the, you listen to pro players and say, oh, there's too many ways to come in here and you get attacked. It's terrible. I look at it differently. Endless possibilities and variables in which to control points in large map multiplayer games, which makes it the difficult level for a COD veteran even higher if you're going solo. That's what's amazing about this game. I look at it this way. When somebody says something, I have an argument that's even better. My rebuttal and my premise, it can beat anybody's premise. I mean, I don't see their reasoning. I guess it just doesn't make sense to me. Because what I'm saying is just the fun factor and the level of degree of gameplay for a COD veteran. This game is remarkable. I would have to say that this is probably one of the top 2 Call of Duties made. Top 2, top 3, maybe. It has to be up there. Minus the 360 sphere drag scoping sniper and minus spawns. That is a small price to pay when you think about Black Ops 2 snipers with incredible accuracy, incredible aiming, incredible backup pistol that has no limitations on distance versus multiple hitboxes because of pro players that affected the casual community. That game was ruined. Minus Modern Warfare 2, Last Stand, Grenade One-Man Army, minus what is it? World at War. I mean, minus. There's a lot of games that can't hold a candle to this game. That you look at the evolution of this game, even though the engine is old, their end result of everything that was been taken out has come a long way. I'm thankful for the way the game is now. Can it be a lot better? Yes. If they would listen to the casual, hardcore community. And then, let's face it, that's what they're aiming for, isn't it not? You look at the commercials. If you look at the Call of Duty Activision commercials, it has the maintenance guy rolling around with a mop. It has the dentist talking about Call of Duty while drilling somebody's tooth. These aren't they're not doing commercials about pro players. The reason why they're not doing commercial with pro players is the fact that you have a 2 million drop in unit sales from Modern Warfare 3 to Black Ops 2. 2 million units is $250 million. That's not chump change. We're talking, that's not including DLC. We're just talking straight up unit sales. So you have to understand where the money is coming in. You want to give $2 million a year to the Veterans Endowment for Call of Duty Ghosts? I don't think it's going to happen if you're losing money on your sales of units. You have to understand who's paying the bills here. I don't mind them taking care of pro players, but the bottom line is casual consumer gameplay comes first out of anything else. And that's the way it should always be. Until you have social supported events that draw 100,000 people to an event, then you can make the game around pro players. Until then, I don't even see it. I see a huge mistake in fighting games as well. I mean, fighting games are taking a huge, kind of hurting themselves by having a bunch of pro players play the game first, mastering the game, or having these pro players play fighting games and then going to all the events and winning the events because they have a jump on everybody else in the rest of the community. I don't think that's fair. But you have to have somebody test the game. I think they should be excluded from the events, to be honest with you. But with that being said, I mean, that's where I look to for a guidance. I mean, fighting games have been around 20 years plus further than shooting games. But like I said, history repeats itself, and that's why history is important. We look at, Capcom. It's been around for 20 plus years. Mortal Kombat, and these games are all spawning new fighting games, new fighting developers. Killer Instinct's a wonderful game. Got 10 out of 10. I mean, I think game is beautiful, but who can afford it? It's $199 for a joystick. Anyways, Going on to Call of Duty Ghosts, I think Call of Duty Ghosts is a wonderful game with a few tolerable things in the game. That can be rectified. You know, I've recently turned off leaning. I don't really think leaning is important to me. Whereas, you know, I can step check. I think step checking is better than leaning, because leaning, it puts you in a position where you want to step check and you wind up leaning, and then you get shot because you can't go back, because step checking is faster than leaning. Leaning, you're stuck to a position. You got to come in and come out. So I just turn it off. And I'm thankful that somebody on Twitter listened to me and said, give us the option to turn the shit off. Thank you. And now I didn't realize it until last night, but it's wonderful turning that contextual lean off. I wish I could turn off vaulting, because there's many times when I'm shooting and I want to strafe, and I strafe onto vaulting, and I wind up dead. I wish I could turn both of them off. I wish I could just go into drop shotting more prevalent, but that's not the case. I am going to be doing an interview or review of the new modded Xbox One controller. I think there's a natural science of the controller that I don't understand. The #1 top 3 selling first-person shooter games on Xbox Live are first-person shooters. Why did they make the controller like they did? I am clueless. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this awesome game. 8 caps. I've worked my ass off for the. I willed our team to win this game. Anyways, get the fuck out of here.